All right, hi guys. Welcome to episode number 3 of season 2. We are missing our host with the most. Cody is out, which actually kind of makes me happy. Only because we had a long-going gig of who was going to be the one who doesn't miss the show, and it was up to me and Cody. I won. Granted, he does have ammonia, so get better. That's like a perfect reason to miss the show.
That's shameful. You're happy.
Is.
You're happy. That's Schadenfreude.
Right. And then, well, now that I have Matt, now I have somebody else to like compete against. So I'm gonna probably just come dying one day. And I was laughing with Cody about it. So a little bit of housekeeping before we get started. I know Cody has this great spiel about talking about clickbait sites. I am not going to do as good a job, so I'm just going to go ahead and skip over that completely. So we are officially on iTunes, Spotify, and SoundCloud. 2 of our episodes are up and ready to go. We also have a new Twitter. It is at CWatchers Show on Twitter. And that's pretty much what I have going for me. JJ, what's been going on with you?
Well, I picked up reviewing Aquaman, so I've been reading a lot of Aquaman. Otherwise, not much else. I made a new friend. You love him.
Okay. JJ's clearly on his whiskey already. All right. And second, I'd like to actually welcome Matt permanently to the show. He was our guest star last week, and he did such a great job. We decided to make him a permanent staple of our little foursome, now 5-some. I guess now officially we're a gangbang. Wait, no. Okay. Anyhow, welcome, Matt. You've been with Comic
More
Watch
than 2 sticks, and you're playing with it.
Right. Yeah, never officially a gangbang.
Right.
Not officially.
Not officially. Matt, you've been with us the shortest amount of time, and yet you kind of came in with a boom. I read several of your reviews. You're kicking ass in that. So welcome permanently. What's going on with you lately?
Not a lot. I've been reading a lot of Fourth World, so I'm full of Kirby pep and leaping at the camera dramatically.
Did you get you got the omnibus at Christmas, right?
Yeah. You could kill
I got it too.
I actually think I'm getting carpal tunnel in one of my wrists from holding it.
Oh God! I think there's a divot in my sternum from sitting down reading. It's brutally heavy, but so worth it.
Yes, it is. But other than that, man, life is good. Thank you guys for inviting me to join.
Yeah.
And I hope that I don't screw it up too bad. So
no, we have JJ. You're fine, trust me.
Well, I'm not drinking while we're doing it, so I'm already a step ahead, I think.
Yeah, you totally you might as well be the leader.
Yeah, and
I'm not fighting Cody for it.
Yeah,
he would not give a crap at this point. He's so sick.
Yeah, he's just like, let me do. Yeah, Derbs, we have some big news from Camp Derby. He is now officially head of media at Comic Watch. Congratulations are in due.
Thank you.
So you have been doing a ton amount of stuff lately. I've seen you post things, and sometimes I'm like, what's going on? Because, I don't actually read anything that's more than 2 scrolls of a thumb. So tell us a little bit about what's going on in your world.
Oh, it's mostly just uninteresting stuff. I've been doing a lot of graphics manipulation and Photoshop and a lot of personnel stuff, all internal stuff mostly. But
it can be exciting if you say it right, though. You say graphics manipulation, and then it's funny. Then it's super funny.
What are we calling that guy anyway? Is that I think Google's because of the googly eyes. But what was the other name you have?
Trey's pushing for Ubi, and that's pretty damn funny.
Ubi's good. We could do a first and last name thing. Ubi Googles. But I did finish up catching up with Nightwing. I actually am liking Rick. I like this. It's pretty. It's actually really smart. Their choice to go in this direction was actually really cool. I'm just kind of liking how he's adjusting. I'm not really a big fan of the team that he's got going on right now. That's a little silly, and they're focusing a lot more on it than I would like. But tomorrow, Man Without Fear and Punisher 7, I think. So, and then I've been looking at this guy. If Brian would stop laughing so I can show this. But yeah, this is what Brian gave me for Xmas. So yeah, fantastic.
All right. Thank you. And yeah, Nightwing, I actually loved the Rick. I think I was the first one to say that I really liked Rick in it. But I haven't read it since issue 50, 51.
I've been liking it, actually.
Yeah, I think almost everybody in our inner circle likes that. What did you think, Matt?
I guess I'm going to have to get back on this book because, like a lot of people, I dropped it after Tim Seeley's run ended, and because reasons. And
rightfully so.
Don't bother buying anything before issue 50.
No, you're fine.
Well, I somehow made
42
it through
to 40.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Sorry, it's 42 to 49. Just skip, and you'll be good.
Yeah.
Copy that. Cool.
Skip the judge. The tech arc, nonsense. terrible nonsense.
You were talking about his team that you weren't so crazy about.
I love the team. I love them. It's a bunch of rogue cops who found Nightwing base, and since Nightwing retired, they found a bunch of Nightwing suits, and so now they're the Nightwings, and it's a bunch of rogue cops taking over Nightwing's mantle.
But I mean, they're not exactly rogue. They're not exactly rogue. Like, they're still cops. They just moonlight as vigilantes, so I guess they're rogue-ish. But
they got a night job.
They have a night job, yeah. But I don't know. It's just. I'm watching them do, karate moves and actually being effective, and it's really silly. But it's DC, it's comics, whatever.
Well, one of them's like the SWAT guy, like the SWAT head, the big guy. That guy's like the SWAT head. He should be able to kick someone's butt.
No, he's a fireman. The big guy's a fireman.
You're damn right he is. He is a fireman.
He's Axwing.
Right. Is Lobdell writing it, or who's writing it right now?
Lobdell.
Okay, cool.
All right, Derbs, I can't wait to hear more about Nightwing in the future. Right now, I'm going to do some quick news. We have a lot of DC news. The Joker movie has a lot of rewrites, according to a certain actress. Told one of the press, saying that they had rewrites up until the night before they started shooting. Usually that's a recipe for disaster, but the whole movie seems extremely rushed to begin with from the time that it announced. And it's actually supposed to be out sometime this year. So I want to see if it will feel rushed when we watch the show. DC did some layoffs recently. They're saying that they're just restructuring. Rumors are all over stating that up to 240 people have been let go. I don't even know if there's that many people in DC that's employed, but who knows? There's been a lot of rumors. I think even the rumor was Jim Lee is no longer with DC. I don't know. I didn't get enough time to do enough research on it. If this is, it's going to be probably a huge story that I'll post on Comic Watch, but I want to verify my facts first. DC Universe also added over 1,000 new comic books on the DC Universe app, which is good because that's kind of the one thing that it was lacking. I do love DC Universe, but
maybe I won't drop it now.
Yeah. Yeah, and it says that they're going to continue adding. I think it has a lot to do with them adding a bunch of books to Comixology. So I don't know if it's going to be the same books or if it's going to mirror each other or if they're going to add even more. It'd be obviously smart for them to add a ton more to be more exclusive. And then last but not least, the last part of Marvel, a little bit of Marvel news, and at this time it is completely rumors. However, Black Widow is currently still in development, may get a R rating, which would make a lot of sense. It's the perfect movie to do it with. However, Disney's never had, or Marvel Studios / Disney has never had an R-rated movie. Everything that's been R-rated through Marvel has been through Fox Studios. or 20th century 20th century studios.
It's 20th Century Fox.
Yeah, there you go. All right, so we're going to get on with the discussions. Does anybody else have anything to add with news? No? All right. Buffy is back in the Hellmouth, and it's actually a really clever title, by the way. It said, "Welcome back to the Hellmouth for the first time." Awesome play on words. She's now back she was with Diamondite, right? No, maybe? I don't remember who she was with previously, but she's with
Dark Horse.
Dark Horse.
Dark Horse. There you go. My bad. She is now with Boom Studios. So it's kind of a soft reboot. Some people loved it. Some people hated it. I want to get your guys' thoughts on it. JJ, I know that you kind of said what you weren't a big fan of it, but go ahead.
Well, I don't really like the show. It's always felt kind of, what's the word? Kind of overly pushing to be kind of quirky, and in so doing feels pretty dumb to me. I know a lot of people love it, and I was never gonna like this book, and I don't.
Okay.
The dialogue feels kind of overly goofy at times. I don't like the vampires making jokes. I don't like some of the silliness. Even like when the vampire goes into the magic shop and gets dissolved, they crack a joke. They crack a couple jokes. That should have been the serious point in the book. So I found it to be just not great across the board. I I didn't hate it necessarily, but I didn't feel like anything made me feel like it was a can't miss book. And someone else mentioned to me, it's not a good entry point for someone who's never heard of the series before, or like a new reader.
I don't want to interrupt, but I'm gonna. But yeah, I mean, that book wasn't written for you and me, John. I mean, that's the thing. Like, I can say I hate it or don't like it, but I can't really because it wasn't made for me. I'm not.
But it's
really
a reboot. It's a reboot. It should be but it's reader friendly.
I guess, but it's Buffy. It's written like Buffy. I've watched enough to know, like, just even looking at it, reading it, like, okay, this is Buffy right here. So,
like, characters come and go, and it should be huge, reveals and big moments. And hey, that's so and so. I don't know who this person is, and I don't really care to find out. Likewise, the art by Dan Mora. I adore Dan Mora, and this is not art that I was too impressed with. I didn't hate it, but there are moments where he's trying really hard to make the characters in the book look exactly like the characters from the show, and there are other moments where he doesn't, and that results in the characters being off model from panel to panel, which is something that can bother me from time to time. And I didn't think it was terribly impressive for him. That doesn't mean that the art was bad. It just means I know he's capable of more.
Yeah, I kind of said what I was going to say.
Okay.
I did take a look at it, and I figured if it was going to be good, it was going to be Buffy, and it's Buffy for sure. And my brother was big into it back in the day. Wrote Sarah Michelle Gellar. She wrote him back, sent him a letter and an autograph, which is nuts, Right. But that's like the most exposure I have to it. It's just it's not my taste wheel, yeah. But that's it. I can't really say one way or the other.
Okay. Sorry, I was actually looking for Cody's response because he wanted to add what he was saying. I'm going to read it real quick, and it took me forever to find it. He says, I am not a fan. I'm not a Buffy fan, and not because I'm not interested in the concept. The timing was just wrong for me. I've had a couple of seasons, but wasn't ever captivated. So coming into this, I had a frame of reference, which is good because the book, considering is reimaging, seems to rely heavily on already established preconcepts. For a new fan coming in cold, this book would be a little bit inaccessible. I enjoy the art for the most part, but there are moments where the artist made a concentrated effort on the faces to match the actors, as kind of basically what JJ was saying. So he said the dialogue matches the show quite well on the level of camp, but again, for those who have never seen this show, it could be a hindrance, not a positive. Matt, do you want to add to it? Because I know you're a huge Buffy fan.
This is true. But I have absolutely no shame in saying Buffy is my favorite show ever. So if anyone here was primed to hate this comic, it was me. And there's probably a broader conversation to be had about nerd culture and reboots and nostalgia, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But I didn't hate it. But I did have a lot of the same critiques you guys did. For something that was supposed to be starting fresh, there's an awful lot of fan service in there for people like me. And I of course, I picked up on it like that. But I couldn't, like it. If you want something pop culturally to stay fresh, you do need to rejuvenate it, every so often. So I'm not necessarily opposed to it. But for me, as simply as a fan, or not, I'm sorry, not as a fan, but as just a casual reader and observer, it didn't grab me. It didn't suck. And I got to give, was it Jordi Belair who wrote it? Yeah. Jordi Belair, lots of credit for managing to capture that very distinct Joss Whedon voice in the dialogue of the characters. I really felt like I was reading a script from one of the episodes. So to me, and that's hard to pull off because too much, lots of writers have tried to go too far that direction and they just can't do it. So I liked it. I thought some of the choices that she made were weird, like having Anya randomly be the proprietress of the magic box. Is she a vengeance demon? Is she just some chick? We don't know.
Right.
But obviously, it's supposed to resonate.
Speaking of new reader accessibility, everything you just said is nonsense.
Exactly.
Okay. No,
Thank you for proving my point, JJ. But on the whole, I mean, 7.5 out of 10 for me. The art, I really like the art. I'm not very knowledgeable of Dan Mora or what else he's done. So, I mean, if you guys want to clue me in at some point, let me know, because I did like the art quite a lot.
Yeah. So I actually had a different experience than most of you guys. I absolutely loved the book. For me, it was probably like one of my top favorites of the week. The story what I enjoyed most about it was that it was a reboot. And I think actually it had more to do with licensing. I don't know if they were able to continue from going to Dark Horse to Boom Studios. I'm not sure, but they don't make any bones about it. Like their first title of the book was literally Back to the Hellmouth Again. Like, or something along those lines, where it made it clear that it was a reboot and they're not making any bones about it. The other thing I really liked is that Buffy at one point was reading a comic book, and I feel like the writer took the jab at how toxic fandom can be, because Buffy said, "You don't punch like that. This who writes this crap?" I thought that was a total awesome jab at how toxic fandom can be. I mean, we all know how bad it could be. As far as the art, and I think there was a lot of subtle things that we had. I think they're trying to cram all the major characters in to make sure that they're pulled so that the fans that were from Dark Horse will come over. So they wanted to make it as recognizable for them. I thought at the same time that if you didn't know the characters, I think you would have been fine. Like there's nothing that you needed to know prior to any of the characters coming in.
Who is Giles? I don't know. They never say. They never
He's the
say.
Watcher. They don't. Okay, so I'd have to read it. I don't remember that much about it.
What's the magic shop?
It's a magic shop.
Okay. What about the vampires? Why are there vampires?
Well, I mean, why is there mutants? Why is there?
No, I'm just saying they never explain why there's vampires. Why is she a slayer? Is there a movie?
Maybe.
Oh, let me jump in there. Actually, I get what you're saying, but you run the risk of having a huge exposition dump if you throw everything in the kitchen sink into the first issue.
Right, and that I agree. I think that issues. I mean,
give me 3 pages at the beginning, though. 3 pages. 3 pages at the beginning,
right.
So I know what's going on because I have no idea.
I definitely think it was more of a grab for those to come in to read it. I don't think anybody's going to pick up the issue that doesn't have some type of knowledge of Buffy prior. I think the reboot is great for a reboot. I certainly normally when it's a reboot, I tend to stay away, but I thought it was fine. There's one thing that I do love is that the book seemed dark and it seemed kind of horrorish, which was great. And they had like the colorist Raul, I don't remember his last name, I apologize, did amazing. He added pink tones to such dark backgrounds and everything, and it worked. It looked really, really amazing. And I absolutely loved that part. But that's all I pretty much have to say. I liked it. I know a lot of people loved it. I think it's going to be one of those books where you just you're going to have fans that are split down the one side or the other. I don't see anybody kind of being in the middle. We'll see what happens. Anybody else have any closing?
Well, it seems like for a reboot, it's pushing really hard for returning fans to be enjoyed. I was just talking to the comic book man just a minute ago, and he was talking about previously Dark Horse was doing continuations, so this is the first time they've done a reboot of the series.
Right.
So to me, a reboot or a new number one, as Marvel is proud of pushing, would indicate some amount of new reader accessibility or new fan accessibility, and I don't feel like any of that is present here. What we have is a book that's trying to take 7 seasons of canon and can make them all applicable from the start of the series, which to me, being the first time I've ever read a Buffy comic, I've been drinking whiskey for like an hour and a half at this point, but for the first time I've ever read a Buffy comic, it's unintelligible nonsense at times. Like I said, Giles, magic user, whatever. He's the Watcher. What does that mean? Comic watchers are watchers. That's nonsense. Doesn't mean
so we can train
anything.
Buffy. All right. Anybody else have anything else to say in closing? Oh, are you not done, JJ? You should be. I'm just kidding.
I'm good. I do what I want.
I know you do. That's why I was like, okay.
I'm interested to see where it goes. If for nothing, at least a first arc. I think if you were a fan of the show, you're going to probably like this, as long as you're not one of those fans that's super overprotective of the thing you love. Then go for it. Give it a shot. It's worth your time.
Yeah. I like I said, it's probably my pick of the week. JJ, I always love that you will go read whatever we suggest, so I always appreciate that from you. Next, we have Guardians of the Galaxy #1. You know, I don't have too much of a background in it, so I'm going to lend it over to you guys because I actually don't know anything. This is the first Guardian of the Galaxy movie or books I ever read. In fact, I don't even think I've seen the second movie.
Yeah, I mean,
it has nothing to do with the movie.
I only know the movies too, to be honest. This is the first Guardians book I've ever read, so I'm kind of staring at it going, yeah, this is somewhat sort of familiar. Frank Castle is Cosmic Ghost Rider? Oh, no idea. Anyway, I'm a little lost.
Well, So the broad strokes of the issue are Star Fox is running a funeral for Thanos and featuring a lot of big and heavy characters from across the pantheons of cosmic Marvel. And he shows a video, or a hologram, I guess. It's space, so hologram. But it's Thanos saying that he isn't he hasn't led a common life, and he's not going to lead a common death, and as such he has uploaded his consciousness to one person throughout the Marvel universe. And the Star Fox shows a bunch of faces across the screen and says any one of these people could be the new Thanos. And the thing I liked was, they didn't have any Avengers there, and he says that he's basically saying there's no do-gooders here. There's nobody that's going to object if we're just killing indiscriminately, trying to prevent. But if you could have killed Thanos as a baby, wouldn't you have? Which was the entire premise of the Cosmic Ghost Rider mini, which is hilarious. And Cosmic Ghost Rider, at one point, he looks aside in a kind of Simpsons little moment and says, "Damn it, I should have killed that baby." And you might not have gotten that if you didn't read Cosmic Ghost Rider. But that was really funny because the entire miniseries was him debating whether or not he should kill Thanos as a baby to prevent all of the carnage Thanos has wrought throughout the span of his life. So that was pretty funny, and it ends up where they become the crew of Quill's ship, which is no longer the Milano. Apparently he was abducted in the 90s rather than the 70s now. So he should be listening to, Crisscross instead of the Cool in the Gang. I don't know why that's so funny to me. instead of, I can't stop this feeling, it's crisscross gonna make you jump. So the ship's the rider now. Maybe Quill listens to better rap than I heard on the radio in the 90s, I guess. But
Okay, so I did have a couple of questions.
The episode was good, or the issue. Let me know what your questions were. I can probably answer them.
Yeah. So Gamora is a bad chick now.
Gamora decapitated Thanos in Infinity Wars #1, and for all of Infinity Wars was walking around with Thanos' decapitated head and Thanos' mind in her head telling her what to do.
Oh,
she's a villain now.
Oh, okay. And well, I guess, does that kind of answer the question of who's implanted in it?
Allegedly, maybe, probably, but but doesn't that seem a little bit too obvious? Because they do say at one point, we have to kill Gamora. If they kill Gamora in issue #2, what are the other 3 issues of the trade paperback gonna be about?
Right. Yeah, that's true. And then we have, then my second question is, as Thor says, what happened with the rabbit?
That wasn't Thor, that was Nova.
No, that was Thor. No.
Thor wasn't there.
The raccoon. No, I was talking about the movie, Avengers Infinity War, where Thor kept referring him to as a rabbit, I think. Talking about
raccoon.
Yeah. So
I don't know where Rocket Raccoon is.
Because I think Quill said, or maybe it was Groot.
Yeah, I said we don't talk about.
Yeah,
I don't know. I didn't read Infinity Wars. I read the synopsis, but I don't remember anything about Rocket. It could be something in Abnett's Guardians of the Galaxy run, which I didn't read, but I should. Because I'm reviewing the new series.
Yeah.
After Aquaman.
I actually really enjoyed the. Or I'm sorry, JJ. Are you done with yours?
I'm done. I'm long done.
Okay. So I actually really enjoyed it. I felt a little bit lost because I don't have previous references to them. The art was great. Even though I was a little lost, I was still able to keep up with a general idea of what the book was. No complaints from me on that category. Anybody else have anything that they want to throw in with it?
Click it again.
I really enjoyed it. This is the Guardians book I've been waiting for a very long time from Marvel. Even though it doesn't have the traditional lineup or whatever of Guardians, it felt big. The story kicked my ass all over the place, just in terms of action, and I love that hook. You know, we've got to find the new Thanos. Who's the new Thanos? We're going to tear the galaxy up to find it. And damn it, we got Beta Ray Bill back.
Right? He was in. If you didn't read Death of the Inhumans, Beta Ray Bill was great in Death of the Inhumans.
Yeah, I remember that. The beer belly and the six pack of Natty.
Oh my God, he's my dad.
Yes.
Yes.
Was he getting out of his trailer and he's got a beer? He's got a can of Ice House and he's yelling at some neighbors. He's shirtless for no reason. Sounds just like my dad.
But yeah, I enjoyed the hell out of this comic. Like Donny Cates at this point, I don't think has done any wrong at Marvel. Although I didn't read Death of the Inhumans, so I might be wrong. But I know you guys had some mixed feelings on that one, and I don't know how it ended.
I love Death of the Inhumans.
Okay.
I'd recommend it. I didn't like the ending so much because it had too much build-up, but overall, it was still a great book.
I thought it was really good. Really solid.
Cool. I kind of feel like Donny Cates is the new Jason Aaron in just kind of his general storytelling sensibilities.
I'd put him more along the lines like a Mark Waid.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
Mark Waid at DC in the early 2000s.
Oh, see, I wasn't reading much DC at that time, so I missed you for
Oh, okay. Oh, no worries. Sorry, that was dumb then. But I thought the book was really good, and I love seeing a team with Beta Ray Bill on it.
Yeah, he adds to it. I just kind of went I didn't also know what's his name died. The green guy. Yeah,
Drax.
He
died in Infinity Wars.
I should have read it. Maybe I should go back and read it. So
yeah, I'm probably gonna read it before the next issue, just because it seems like they're referencing it really heavily.
Yeah, for sure.
But I will say, and I heard this complaint from a couple people, they didn't do a very good job of explaining people in the book. Like Darkhawk's there. Nobody knows who Darkhawk is. You know, even friggin' Star Fox, who's like one of the main characters of the book at the beginning. They didn't do anything to explain who Star Fox was, or any of the team members for that matter. Like, you know, even I don't know, what's the girl's name? Dragon something?
Moondragon?
Moondragon. I don't know who that is. I'll figure it out before next issue. I got a little while.
You need to read some Starlin, man.
Yeah, I need to.
Shame.
Derbs, did you have anything to add? Oh, Matt, were you done? I'm sorry.
No, I'm good. Derbs?
Okay.
No, not really. This is one definitely that both of these books are completely, out of my scope of care to read. But at least I'm familiar with the stuff with Guardians, but I definitely probably should have read up a bit before I got here. Probably should have asked for some recommendations before I was asked to give some input on that book.
Definitely feels like you should have read like 70 issues of random, like 5 different series before you read it, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, and nobody got no time for that. I don't got no time for that. I got stuff to do.
5 different series and 17 new number ones.
Yeah.
Right?
And that's just for the last 3 years, and there's like 40 issues from the 70s that are like 700 words a page.
So overall, do we think we recommend this book for everybody?
I really liked it. I definitely could recommend it just for the fun factor. And I didn't say I really like that they branched away from like the movie team. I it was annoying me for a while that Marvel was going out of their way to make every team the same as the movies, and it feels like we're kind of stepping away from that in Marvel as a whole, and it's making a lot of the Marvel books a lot more palatable.
Hmm. That's actually a really good insight. I didn't think of that, but yeah, it does make me want to read more because I'm like I want to know who all the characters are versus the movie. It's kind of just like I already know who they are. I have less involvement in them, I guess, in a weird way. Because for me, comic books, comic book characters, and what we see in TV and movies, I view them as completely separate identities. Like I don't view them as the same. So I don't have the same connection with somebody on their character in the movies versus the same connection that I have in the books. Like for a good example of that is Jessica Jones for me. Love the book, hate the show.
And
Matt,
sometimes that can be like run to run. Like
yeah.
every now and again, it's like, is this really what they think Nightwing is right now? Are they reading the same book? Or with like the X books, right? X Blue and X Gold. It was like, what's going on here? Nobody's reading each other. This sucks. But whatever.
Yeah, that was bad. I mean that was just bad. I'm not even gonna try to clean that one up. I was gonna be like, oh, it wasn't so bad, but no, that was horrible. Matt, would you recommend it?
Absolutely. It was my favorite book of the week last week. Although to JJ's point, you are right in that it's not extremely new reader friendly with a lot of the characters, but I feel like the general themes of the story and just the plot itself are strong enough to carry it past that. Yeah, very cool stuff. I can't wait for the next issue.
Yeah. Derby, even though that we both were kind of brand new to it, would you recommend it, or would you continue reading it?
Again, the way I am, I need a foundation, so I need to go back. I need to find a read list and catch up. Otherwise, but as far as it is, it was very digestible as it was, and so I mean, sure, if you like Guardians of the Galaxy, I actually was pretty impressed when I was reading something that didn't seem analogous to the movies. So I thought that was pretty cool. So yeah.
All right. So that's the end of our two discussion books. So we're going to move on to what we've been reading and the favorites of the week, although we kind of tapped on that a little bit. And then also, what are we looking forward to? JJ, I know that you always are ready for the next week because you've already read them like on Thursday when they've already come out. So I'll let you go first.
Well, for last week, a couple books that I really enjoyed that I didn't mention today. War is Hell, the one shot from from Marvel, featuring stories by Howard Chaykin, and I forget the writer on the second story. Sorry. But War is Hell was amazingly good. Like, it felt like a, Golden Age war comic, which is a pretty high praise. Even the crappiest Golden Age comic was still pretty darn good. Usually, sometimes. And Superior Spider-Man #2 was amazing. I don't know why. I loved it. So those are my books for last week I loved. Books I'm looking forward to this week, as Derb said, Punisher #7 is coming out, and Punisher is probably my favorite ongoing right now. I haven't looked at what else is coming. I need to read a whole lot. I had like 25 more issues of Aquaman to read, and you, RB, were saying that the stuff ahead of me and Aquaman is good. So I look forward to reading that to catch up for reviewing the new series. And apparently now I have 70 issues of 70, 80, 100 issues of Cosmic Marvel to read before next issue of Guardians of the Galaxy, which is probably in 2 weeks. So I'll try and read it before then.
All right. Yeah, you amaze me how well you can read like 100 books in a week. Like that just amazes me. I get jealous of that fact.
I read really fast and I have really good reading comprehension.
Yeah. All right, Matt, what have you been reading that you enjoyed this week? And then what are you looking forward to next week?
Let's see. So I spent the last week getting caught up on Jason Aaron's current Avengers run, like the last 6 or 7 issues. I dropped the book after the first arc because it sucked.
It was bad.
And well, and I'm not an Ed McGuinness fan, in all fairness. So putting him on any book is going to automatically lose points with me. But yeah, it's just, it was lots of sound and fury and really not much substance, and I just couldn't get behind it. So I thought to myself, you know, we've got Man-Wolf now in the book. Maybe this is worth checking out. And my final analysis...
I loved Man-Wolf so much.
Yeah, Man-Wolf. My analysis so far is that I feel like Jason Aaron has a bucket list of things he thinks is really cool, and he wants to put all of them in the story right now. And so he does, but he doesn't slow down to think about whether or not he's making a coherent story. Hey, wouldn't it be a cool idea if the Avengers lived in a big, giant, dead Celestial? Sure, why not? Let's do that. Okay, it is kind of cool, but it just sort of happens. And
that was actually really cool, but unfortunately, it was like the fucking highlight.
Yeah. All that stuff with Namor was great, and then it turns out that it was really just setting up the Invaders book, which kicked all kinds of ass.
I was just talking about that. The Invaders, or not the Invaders, the Avengers. They had like 2, maybe 3 issues devoted to the Namor conflict, and then it ended up kind of just poofing into nothing, right?
It was all just set up.
And now it's in the Invaders book. So is that going to get resolved in Avengers, or is that going to be? It sounds like next issue they're going to the Vampire Civil War.
Yeah. It's just
which is probably going to be cool.
What I really want to see more of is this stuff that's simmering on the global scale, with everyone being ill at ease with the Avengers operating out of Wakanda now, and Black Panther setting up his agents of Wakanda all over the world, which includes Kazar and Gorilla Man and all kinds of cool characters. But it's just not gelling, and I kind of, my term for that now, thanks to Scott Snyder, is metal fatigue, because that was the absolute biggest drawback of metal. Was it was just a big bunch of cool ideas thrown together without heed to the story making sense.
Wait, metal fatigue?
Yes.
What kind of metal are we talking about?
Dark Knight's metal.
It's a reference to
Batmanium.
Because I'm way big into death metal, and I was starting to get like, there's no such thing. There's no such thing.
Oh, no, sir. No. I've seen Slayer 5 times and countless other metal concerts. You were of one mind on that matter. Yeah.
I'm really tired of metal. I better go listen to some Dire Straits for a while. Kind of settle down.
So that's kind of what I was catching up on. And then this week, next issue of Detective Comics comes out. Tomasi and Doug Mahnke have just absolutely been killing it on that book.
Are you trying to feed a soccer team?
Okay.
Hey, JJ, where's your mute button, buddy?
There you go.
Soccer teams.
It's Trader Joe's apple.
JJ, you're mute.
You're fucking us, buddy.
There he goes.
I was talking about apples.
Moment. God.
Sorry.
Derbs, how about you?
Like I said, after the finale of Man Without Fear from last week, I've just been sitting and waiting for it. It's almost just like I could be just one of the characters standing around asking, "Where's Poochie?" Because it's not on the screen, That's how I feel about the next Man Without Fear. Just want to know what's going to happen next.
I'm sorry. Wait, hold on. Did you just say, "Where's Coochie"?
Yeah,
Where's
see,
Poochie? No, yeah, everybody. When Poochie's not on the screen, everybody should be standing around going.
Well, I don't know
Where's
about you.
Poochie?
I don't know about you guys, but I'm never having to ask where's Coochie. Anyway,
Okay.
I can see three of us have seen watched The Simpsons extensively, and one has not.
one of these things is not like the other. Not just because we're hetero, cisgendered assholes. Anyway.
Is that a hate crime just now?
Against no. So
If you made it to this point in the show, I do apologize.
Yeah, Punisher. Again, Punisher's always just that monthly treat. That's like, yeah, I'm always staring at it, waiting for it to come in. So those are really the 2 books I'm looking forward to for tomorrow.
All right. For me, I'm not really sure what I'm looking forward to X-Force #2. It started off pretty strong. This week, I finally finished Unlimited X-Men, all 100 episodes. I'm not gonna lie, that was kind of rough at times.
Ultimate X-Men.
Ultimate X-Men. Yeah, it was great. I'm glad it's over. Moving on. I started Unlimited or Ultimates, the Ultimates Volume 1. It was pretty good.
So good.
Yeah, I think I'm on like issue 5 already.
So awesome.
Don't make Hank feel small, man. He does horrible things. Is that Volume 2?
No, it's issue 6 of Volume 1.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right, guys. Anybody else have anything in closing?
Thanks for watching, everybody.
Cody, get to feeling better.
Yes, Cody should be back next week, and I am thankful that he will be back.
We'll be back soon, kids.
Yeah. So until then, you can go check us out on www.comic-watch.com. You can like us on Facebook at Comic or C Watchers Show, and Twitter, and you can also check us out on Facebook. The Comic Watch Show. You can also check out this show on YouTube, of course. You can check us out on SoundCloud, iTunes, and Spotify. So you don't have to watch us. You can listen to us on the go.
Yeah, sorry about that Twitter tag. It was the best I could find that would fit the show because other people are using it.
Yeah, no, it's perfect. Oh, they're using it? We should sue. All right, guys. We shall be back next week, hopefully fully staffed. If not...
it's going to be me and a puppet show.
Yes. Just
a puppet show edition of Comic Watchers.
Uncensored.
Don't tempt me.
Full nudity puppets. They're naked.
And we're out.